Hello everyone, my name is Vinay and I would like to welcome you again in this channel. So in this video, basically it is a series of SQL constant and we have covered so many topics till now. So I have just reiterating again, we have covered primary key, not null, check constraint and the foreign key, and we are left with these two constant unique and default. So if you haven't watched that particular video till now, you can uh, watch and just dive into this video also, because these are already interconnected to each other. So I request please go and watch that, otherwise you can continue from here also and watch it later. So in this video we will be covering the default constant. Basically, by the name of default we can figure it out. Whatever the default value we want to provide in a particular column, like this kind of constraint, or you can say limitation, this particular default constraint put on the particular tables column. Let's say if I'm just giving an example, let's say I want any email id column. The email id should be, let's say we are testing and creating a table, so the table should be like test@test.com. It is just a hypothetical example I'm giving. And let's say if you're working with student data, and the data is like somewhere where you have to provide the class session, and the class session by default is B, so you can provide just B in columns, so it will work. And some other key features already I have mentioned over here. So first is default value, data type compatibility, and null value. Basically what exactly if the column has null value, so and if we are providing the default, what exactly it will do. Default values, what what is the exact meaning of the default values in particular table. Data type compatibility means if the data type is same, then what should be the next step in the default. So we will be covering this thing one by one. So as written in the definition, and I have already told that thing, the SQL constraint in a database constraint you specify default value for a column in a table. Basically, when a new row inserted into the table and no value is provided for a column with default constraint, the default value is automatically used. Let's say if we are not providing any particular columns data and we have used a default in that, so it will use that default value in that particular column. What exactly they are trying to say over here? In the default value, the key feature is stating that when creating a table you can assign a default value to one or more column using default constraint. And another is saying data type compatibility. The default value specified in the constraint must be in same data type. Basically, it associated. Basically, the data type should be same. Doesn't mean you are inserting varchar into int. And the null value is if a column has default constraint, okay, and it is also declared as a not null, then even if no value is explicitly provided during an insert operation, the column will receive a default value. Means that if the like data is not available or undefined and we have provided the default constraint in that, so the default value will be inserted in the null. So it will ensure that it doesn't contain null also. So it is a key feature. We have just read default value, data type compatibility, and null value, and we have already covered what exactly the meaning of the default constraint. So it is a basic syntax we are going to learn. Like I'm creating a table, the table name is consumer, and the columns we have customer ID, first name, last name, the email ID, varchar of default. Let's say, for example, it is just an example, you can use any kind of default value over here. And let's say you have another table called salary, or let's say customer customer, or let's say customer location. You know, the like we are dealing with the Delhi or a particular location, so we can use a default value in the location. So it is the usefulness of this default syntax. Now dive into the interview question. So again, what is the purpose of default constraint in the SQL? Why it is important in the database design? So I hope you can give the answer. What is the purpose of? Because if you are providing a default value for a particular column, we can use, and it will do our job very quickly. Another question we have, what how do you define a default constant when creating a table? Basically, so whenever we are creating any table, so we can provide, basically we have whatever we have read in the previous slide, you have to provide the in that. Explain the scenario where you have used the default value constant. Basically, if I have to give the live scenario, so I have used in our current database, which is insurance premium, and there I was dealing with Massachusetts employees, so I have to provide only MA as a location, so I have used a default constraint in that. So another question we have, what happens if you insert a new row in a table with column that have default value? It will throw an error. Next question we have, in the case where you need a remove duplicate constant, so what is the step involved in that? So alter we can use in removing that thing, you basically the default constant alter. So it is a bonus for you. I'm just providing a question bank which is totally dedicated to constant, and it is the last video of constant. I hope you have understood and learned something from this series. I hope you will share this video with your friends, and like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Have a nice day ahead.